Hey there, everybody. Welcome into this Friday edition of Extra Time, a fully loaded edition of Extra Time. Not just Shaka and myself in studio. We got Frank, Stevie, and Craig also with us on the bird. We got a lot of questions, but Craig, I feel compelled to start with you. One of the videos you posted on Twitter, like was it yesterday, a couple days ago, has gone viral. You versus a bear? What's going on here?
Well, it wasn't me versus it, but it was actually from last night.
Maybe that was wishful thinking on mine.
It was actually from last night at the golf course. I went up to join a few lads in the lovely weather late on, and this little fellow popped out from just behind the 10th tee box, and one of my mates was teeing off as he poked his head out of the bushes and waltzed across the 10th fairway. He was a big lad, I have to tell you.
Is this you shooting it on the phone? Because you seem to be getting closer and closer to the bear.
It is me shooting it. I went and got the phone out of my bag, and the lads were holding me back, but you know, I fancied my chances even if he attacked me, so I was trying to get as close as possible.
I wouldn't fancy your chances. I wouldn't fancy your chances running away, Craig. I've seen you run.
I have to say, if that thing had turned and growled at me, Shaka.
Frank, you got any bears there in Paris?
I'm sorry, do I like bears? I love bears. Yeah. And I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with what Craig did. I mean, I would have done like Shaka. I would have run away, you know? I mean, that guy is crazy. Well, you know, he thought he was Mel Gibson, you know, in the movie. He was there, freedom! And he was going into the bear. You know, crazy guy.
Stevie, listen, Seb. Stevie will tell you that was a rather big bear, but Stevie and I a few years ago encountered a kind of mid-sized bear on a different golf course, and he was a bit of a smart ass trying to wind me up.
Who, Stevie or the bear?
No, him.
Stevie, you didn't get the invite to the golf? What happened?
Oh, at night, I've got too many things going on later on in the evening.
Yeah. We got one thing going on.
All right, I'm being told to move on to the questions here. Hold on.
All right. I thought he was going to tell you what he did to me. He snuck up behind me when I was putting the clubs in the bag and tried to pretend he was.
No.
Go on.
Well, what happened was he went back. He said he was going to go and get his phone. So he started walking towards the buggy. So he turned his back to bend into the buggy. And as he turned his back, I thought, I'll just start running. Because he'd kind of lost his bearings. I thought, if I start running, I'll see if he runs anyway. I started running and I shouted, Craig! And he just lifted his head and he started running away. He started running the opposite direction and I stopped and I just stood there laughing at him. I was like, ah. He's like, ah. Hey, he's like,
ah. Perfect way to pull a hamstring. Do your back, something there. Craig, do you think if Chelsea loses the final, can we call this season a success or a failure for them, considering you were having a go at Manchester United despite finishing second in the league?
What's Chelsea and Man United got to do? Chelsea have won the Premier League in the last few years. Chelsea have won cups. They've won the Europa League. They're in the Champions League final. There's no bearing here on Man United. For God's sake, how boring is this? Look, at the end of the day, are we talking about Chelsea here or are we talking about the manager? The manager came in to replace Lampard, who was sacked, and has delivered what his remit when he came in was not to win the FA Cup or indeed win the Champions League. That was all pie in the sky when he got the job. The remit was to get this team running again and to get them into the top four. As Shaka said, they limped over the line on the show. So ultimately, whatever happens at the weekend, he's pretty much done his job. Anything else is a huge bonus for him, trust me.
Stevie, why would any top signing, Kane or Sancho, the two examples given, want to play for United, speaking of Manchester United, a fledgling club, or Ole, a mediocre losing manager? I love how the tweets get more and more passive-aggressive towards the end.
A fledgling club, Manchester United. Let's
just leave the end. Forget the end of that.
No, that's Jerome's words. That's not ours.
Stevie?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. There's the money, there's the history, the fact that in the years to come they will always have money available. And really, is Ole going to be there for long? I don't think so. You know, if I'm Harry Kane, who do I think the next manager of Manchester United is going to be? It's not going to be another Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's going to be one of the top names that are available. And so, if you're looking at going to a side who are not quite there, are certainly not at the top, but who more than anybody else, because of the financial clout in particular, it's Manchester United.
Frank, you think there are players that look at Manchester United and say, nah, I'd rather not?
Some of them will do. Will do that and say, no, I don't want to go. I don't know who the manager is going to be. The team is not strong enough. The history, the short-term history of the club is not big enough for me to hope something and get a silverware at the end of the season. But if there is a project, a real project, where a man like Kane knows that 3 or 4 other players going to come, yeah, might be a possibility. But if you are the first in the list, and you say, okay, but who else? And somebody is going to tell you, well, maybe him. No, I don't think big time player will come. I don't think so. But
listen, Sebi, it's already happened recently. Erling Haaland did it.
Yeah.
Now you can say Erling Haaland went to Dortmund for progression, for game time, and all this. But I mean, they're still a big club. But he was coveted by Man United. I mean, a fellow countryman, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer allegedly went all out to try and get him. And he said at this particular point, or at that point, he said no. He turned him down.
When your club bought a player that played your position, were you worried about potentially losing playing time or motivated for the competition, or a little bit of both? Shaka?
I'm tempted to say a little bit of both, but the truth is, that's part of playing football at the highest level.
But you don't like it. It doesn't sit well with you. It never makes you feel good, does it?
No. It's not a vote of confidence, if you want to put it like that. But you know, it's part of what you do every single day. Players come and players go, regardless of what level they play at. You know, that's just part of the territory, and you learn not to. You don't let it bother you too much, you know, one way or the other. You just deal with it.
Did how much your club spent on the other guy factor into how much you worry about it? How much it bothers you?
I guess so. I guess it would, yes.
Juan asks, did any of you have a manager whose outlook was basically right? Here's the 11, here's the bench, you're better than them, go win. No real game plan with contingencies. You know, like Ole. I swear this is not me making this up at the end of these tweets. This is really how they're coming in.
I'm blaming you, Sebi. I'm blaming you.
Stevie, you ever had a manager like that?
I think you've made that. Listen, Liverpool, certainly in my time, and having talked to former players in their time, Liverpool very rarely changed their game to suit the opposition. I can't think of any time Kenny did it. I don't remember Joe Fagan doing it. Bob Paisley definitely did it once before I got there. The early, I think it was in '80 when he made Sammy Lee do a man marking job against Bayern Munich, I think it was. But I think they had a few injuries, so I think that was the only reason for it. But other than that, all the Liverpool sides that won throughout the years, all basically were put on the field with the message of they're going to have to beat us because we're better than them. If we do what we're good at, then we'll beat them. So that's how the Liverpool sides through the 70s and 80s went about it. They never changed for anybody. You had to beat us. We weren't changing for you.
Craig, any of your former managers guilty of something similar?
What part? I can't read the question.
Kind of a no game plan, but effectively oversimplifying things, right? Just being like, here's the 11,
No,
you're
I
better
think
than them. Go out and
Well,
win.
I know what Stevie's talking about because some of those Liverpool teams were magnificent.
It's
But they still had a game
culture.
plan.
I should have said culture. That's the word I should have said.
Yeah, they still have a game plan. I mean, they might be the best side in the league or the best side in Europe, as Liverpool were for a period, but they still have a game plan. They still have a structure to the way they play. And when we talk about contingency, contingencies are generally not made before the game. Yeah, you have your substitutes, but the best coaches are reactive. The ones that can see what's going on and know when to make the right changes and get that right. That's a big part of it. You can sit and plot away all week what you're going to do, but that all goes out the window when the 90 minutes starts and people get injured or people make mistakes or somebody's not playing well or an opposition team does something different. That's when a manager turns to his coaches and they figure it out, and that's why some of them are better than others.
Southampton players have
By
the
the way,
option.
hey Seb.
Yeah, Stevie?
Hey Seb. If you're coaching a team and during the week leading up to the game, you play two different ways and you say, well, you know what, we're going to play this way, and if it doesn't work, then we're going to do this. If you're a player, you're going, hold on a second. If it doesn't work, why are you asking us to do something if you don't even think it works? You know what I mean? You've got to instill confidence in the things that you're doing as a coach, and you're telling your players, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. You can't halfway through it go, oh, and by the way, if it doesn't work, we're going to do this. It's like, the players will be going, what? What's this guy on about?
Speaking of players, Southampton players have the option to receive bonuses in Bitcoin. Would any of you guys be willing to accept Bitcoin as payment for your employment contract? Frank, you a big Bitcoin guy? You big in crypto? Lots of holdings, highly volatile?
Well, it would have interested me when Bitcoin just started, when it was nothing, and now we'll be a billionaire, But now, I'm not sure. I have to ask Elon Musk what he think about, because he will be able to put it down or to put it up. So, but really, no, I want real money. Give me some pounds, some dollars, or some euros. I will be happy with.
There you go. Shaka?
No.
No? Not touching it.
I just don't understand it.
Can I be honest? I have zero clue about what it is. I definitely have, a few shekels thrown in. I have this little account on my phone. Yeah, and you open it, and it's
Well, it's not anything. That's the thing.
Yeah, you don't know what you're.
It's not anything.
But the value goes up and down, and it's kind of fun to track.
Well, I get
Some
that.
days are really good, and then other days are bad.
I get that, but I just don't understand it as a technology or its applications in the real world.
Hard to
other
put
than
your money.
having it and see it go up and down.
Oof, been a bad day for your boy.
Yeah, you see?
Minus 900 on the day then for me. Not great. Craig, who should Manchester United replace Ole with? Conte, Antonio Conte, Zinedine Zidane, or Joachim Löw?
Well, you can rule the last one out. I don't think they'll go for somebody like Antonio Conte, because he's had success at several clubs, Juventus, Chelsea, Inter Milan, but he's fiery. He is demanding. He's open in his press conferences. I mean, I don't mind it sometimes, but I think if you're an owner, I think the ownership at United it seems to me they like people that are more in line with what they want to get put out, that message, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And I think Antonio Conte is somebody that would put a rocket up their backside, and I don't think they would go for somebody like that. Maybe Frank will know better than me, I don't know. Maybe they would go for somebody like Zidane, who's sort of quieter about the way he goes his business. The players would kind of like him, apart from if Gareth Bale was there, obviously. So I don't know. I would probably say out of the two, they would likely go for Zidane for those reasons, but I would say Conte maybe would be the better coach.
Frank, what do you think? Zidane and Manchester United?
Well, I think Zidane could do something good. I mean, he worked for the reserve team before and the academy, so he knows how to deal with young players. But for like 7 years, he's been working, on and off with very talented, confirmed players, and he worked with them. He doesn't speak English. I'm not sure he wants to come to England. It can be a good solution, but I think for me, if you ask me, between the three that I can see, Joachim Löw will be maybe a good choice. He's going to be free. I mean, I guess he's willing to come to England, and he has the expertise to help Manchester United. I don't think the two others would like to come to Manchester United with the status of the club right now.
Stevie, do you expect Konate to start over Gomez next season, or will he be eased into a starting role?
I think right now it depends on Gomez's injury. If Gomez is fit and healthy for the start of pre-season, then I would suggest that it's going to be about who does better in the pre-season. Right now, if I'm putting my money on anything, I'm telling you that Konate starts ahead of Gomez. But the only way Gomez will get ahead of Konate is that he's ready to go from the first day of pre-season and does well.
Should there be a different method to resolve ties in championship matches, Shaka? It seems strange to have goalkeepers taking penalties to decide major tournaments.
Well, I mean, that really is a one-off. That is an exception.
And it was spectacular and amazing.
It was. And they flirted with a number of different ways to resolve it. None of them, I think, work. You had remember those shootouts?
The MLS shootouts?
Yeah.
From 35 yards with like a 5-second clock.
Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that was fun, but I mean, people have floated the idea of who has more corner kicks, but I think that's a disaster as well.
What about this? Take a player off until somebody scores.
From the time you said, what about this, and put your two fingers up in the air like that,
That's just stupid.
I knew, from the time he went like that, I knew it was going to be something.
Here comes the Sevi. Stevie, you didn't like that one?
Don't touch the rules.
That's cool. That's just a stupid thing to say,
football
but anyway.
Sure.
I'll tell you, by the way,
so angry.
hey, I don't know how we complain about goalies taking penalties. Have you ever seen the rugby? And the Rugby Union Cup final, when they go through the players and you end up with a hooker who's like 18 stone, 5'6", can't even swing his leg, has got to take a conversion. Now that's stupid. So
by the way,
I understand nothing of what Steve said.
By the way,
yes, Craig.
What's wrong with the goalkeepers taking a penalty kick when the Villarreal goalkeeper took one of the best penalties out the world?
Yeah, that was.
Yep.
That was a great penalty.
I mean, let's be honest. There were 21 great penalties, weren't there?
Yeah. Not 21.
Okay,
not 21. Not 21. Rulli could have saved another one.
18.
Shaw's wasn't great.
Bruno Fernandes wasn't great.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes wasn't great. Shaw wasn't great.
Yeah.
So we wrote 17, 18. We'll go with that.
Yeah. All right, final question here. Who will win a Marble Mania tournament between the ESPN FC crew? What is Marble Mania?
Well, Frank is a Marble Mania expert.
Frank will win it because he's the only one that would
he's
play.
the only one.
None of us would play.
Frank,
he's the only one.
What is Marble Mania? Frank?
Frank's
And
frozen.
France bought the.
Go ahead.
Oh, he's froze.
He's froze.
He's froze.
No, what's going on? What's going
No,
on?
I'm here,
I'm here.
You're there.
Yes, Marble Mania is a Dutch show, and French TV bought the rights, and it's very fun because you have a kind of a race where you have to push your marble, and you have games, and you have to be precise because if you go out, you have to start from start. So it's nice. It's very entertaining, and I went to Amsterdam to play for TV, so everybody's teasing me on the social networks. It's really fun.
Hold on. Did you get paid?
They want to know the result. I wasn't paid. It was for charity.
What,
it
you
was
still
for my
did
charity,
it?
but I well,
All right,
no. When you go for charity, you're not paid. That's for charity. And the thing is, I can't say the result because it's going to be on TV in July, I think. So I have to keep the secret.
Oh, no,
but
you're
just so
kidding.
you know, I did well.
I'm gonna get to
I
sleep
did well.
tonight.
Oh, he did
That's
well without giving away too much. Frank is a Hey, Frank, anybody else from
It was fun, yeah, right.
anybody else from the ESPN FC world you think would be good for the Marble Mania tournament?
Shaka Hislop,
Well, I'm
he's a
getting my hair
goalkeeper.
cut.
He knows how to move his
The day it's
fingers.
on.
He knows how to move his fingers.
Yeah, he can't catch a ball, but he knows how to move his fingers.
Easy, Stevie.
You see how angry Stevie got there when he said it was for charity?
Yeah.
What, for charity?
You could do a
Beg your
weekend
pardon,
in
I did not. I
Amsterdam,
calmed
couldn't
down
you?
when he said
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's-
I
Very
might
nice
make
thing
it
to
to
do.
the Marble Mania, but
Right, exactly.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.